Hi there. Welcome to another Intel Tech Community Mailbag, also known as the Intel Tech AMA. I'm your host, Marcus Yam, Technology Evangelist at Intel. Today, we're here to answer your questions about Intel's 12th generation processor, codenamed Alder Lake. Now first, a little background for those of you who are new to the 12th gen processor. It's a new performance hybrid architecture, and it features a unique combo of performance and efficient cores, the P-core and E-core. And Intel is saying that it's our best gaming CPU ever. And as a former competitive gamer, I agree. But don't just believe us. Tech reviewers also agree that Alder Lake is a winner. Now, you asked a ton of great questions about Alder Lake for this mailbag. And we want to give a special shout out to the mods and Redditors who sent in the queries and the experts at Intel who supplied the answers, especially Tony, Amber, Nima, Aaron, Alex, Dan, and Jason. In fact, we received so many great questions, we're going to have to split this AMA into 2 videos. That's double the questions, double the answers, and double the surprises coming out of this bag. We'll focus on general questions about Alder Lake in this first mailbag, including answering your asks about its SoC as well as all things performance hybrid architecture. We'll get to questions on memory, overclocking, integrated graphics, and more in AMA Part 2, the sequel. Even more, 12th Gen Core. But don't worry, we won't end this video right in the middle and wait for years to release a sequel. Depending on when you see this, it may already be out. So check the Intel Tech channel or the description below for related links. Oh, a diploma. Question from IHCED9. You say L3 is 30 megabytes of smart cache. Why do you call L3 cache smart? And what makes it smart? Okay, so Intel Smart Cache is the brand name for the shared last level cache, or L3 cache, within the processor. And it's smart because the L3 cache is shared among the P-cores, E-cores, and the processor graphics. Thus, it's called Smart Cache, but it's also really good at sharing. Okay. This question comes from Dean K, 1999. What is the size of each core's L3 cache slice, both for the golden coves and the gray spots? Good question. First, let me decode that for those of you not aware. Golden cove refers to the microarchitecture of the P-cores, and gray spot refers to the E-cores. The size of the L3 shared Intel Smart Cache is up to 3 megabytes per slice. There is 1 slice for each performance core, and 1 slice for each 4 efficient cores, for up to 10 slices of L3 cache. So that's why you'll see different cache sizes depending on which processor you choose. All this talk of slices, it's making me think of pizza. Secret confidential dossier. Well, it's not going to be secret anymore. I'm reading it. It's a question from the Malcore. Where in silicon does the thread director reside? Is it a discrete block in the uncore, or does it separately exist inside the cores? Intel Thread Director uses a combination of firmware arbitration, hardware hooks, IP and software hints preferences to determine the best core suited for the task being requested, taking into account the resources available on the CPU. It's kind of like our secret sauce. And with any good sauce, you want it all over. Spicy mayo. Cool. Let's see. This appears to be a spell to give your opponents lag. Just makes 10 eyes of Newt and say Alder Lake backwards. Oh, wait a minute. Wrong page. Okay, here we go. This question is from WizFactor. The hybrid core model has been around the mobile space for a while now, but it's only now that Intel is adopting hybrid cores as well. What changed in either the company or the computing landscape that has made this architecture possible now rather than, say, back in 2013? Hybrid has been around for a while, and it's been in development at Intel for about just as long. It may be more appropriate to call our approach big bigger rather than big little, given the punch that each E-core packs. Our performance hybrid model consists of 2 very complementary, yet differently focused architectures. Other past implementations have not been so focused. There is a lot of ecosystem that needed to be developed to support such a radically new implementation, such as OS software support and the Intel Thread Director being critical pieces to allow successful launch of such a product. So, WizFactor, I guess you could say that bigger is the eye of Newt here. Okay, let's see what's next. Ooh. Oh, well, this next one comes from Titanic Freak. First and foremost, amazing job on Alder Lake. Most impressive launch in many years. I do wish supply was a little bit better. Can we get a higher resolution shot of that die on top of the thread? It's frankly beautiful, and I prefer it over the wafer shot that Intel provided in the press kit. Yeah, I agree with you. Glad you love it. And I think that it looks better than the heart of the ocean. If you want to download the high-res image of the 12th Gen Core i9, check out the link in the description below. It makes a great desktop wallpaper. And hey, maybe we should think about putting some of this amazing silicon art on some cool merch. Let us know what you think in the comments. And while you're at it, like this and subscribe to the channel. Another question from IHCED9. When will the thread director come to Linux? We are working hard to get the thread director integrated into the Linux kernel as soon as possible. Now, given the nature of development and releases, we can't give specific dates since individual Linux distributions all have varying schedules when they integrate new kernels. But best we can give you again with respect to third parties is soon. Okay, BoMX asks, do P-cores and E-cores share the same voltage? In motherboard brief pages I checked, V-core phases are listed as just one set, not two sets each dedicated separately to the P-cores and E-cores. So, the answer is a 12th gen architecture has one large power plane for all cores to share. No, not that kind of power plane. This means that while core frequencies can be individually tuned, all cores share the same voltage applied. Okay, this next question comes from Bazood. Will it be possible to disable all P-cores and run only the E-cores? This would be useful for benchmarking the E-cores in relation to Skylake and Rocket Lake. Hey Bazood, short answer. You need to have one P-core active as the bootstrap processor to load the BIOS. Okay, Iragus Trenzalore asks us, what is the benefit of separating the P and E cores for a PC gamer who doesn't stream? I understand the productivity benefits of the 12th gen architecture, but I don't quite see the benefit of E-cores except for reducing power consumption. But this isn't much of an issue in desktop builds as opposed to the mobile space, such as laptops and phones. I say take no good core for granted. With background tasks that could be running, the purpose of the E-cores, along with the thread director, ensures that you have an uninterrupted gaming session. Unless you hear the doorbell signaling delivery of that new thing you bought on Black Friday. Anyway, that's because team chat apps, music streaming, and online video, even for a game walkthrough, can all take up resources and potentially impact your performance. The benefit of the E-cores is so whatever's happening in the background, your main foreground application, such as the game, remains as smooth as possible. You can even do some video encoding in the background while you game without the need of a third-party application to manage threads or affinities. All right, hold on everyone. I need to get my package before the porch pirates do. Wish I had some E-cores to get it for me. Wonkalo wants to know, why remove AVX512 from the P-core only mode in BIOS like the original optimization guide started? What is the general temperament around things like AVX512 or AMX being included or not? We are not supporting AVX512 on the 12th gen Intel Core desktop processors, given the efficient cores are not designed to execute the AVX512 instruction set. Now, there was a recent draft white paper that was erroneously published which stated otherwise, but we've since pulled that documentation down and will be publishing updated developer materials that will clarify this guidance. And hey, we've seen what some of those clever motherboard makers have done out there. But officially, 12th gen Intel Core processors will support AVX2, VNNI, and other instruction sets that are more applicable to client workloads. AVX512 is an important instruction set, and we do have other Intel-based processors that offer support. JG Garfield would like to know, where is the PCH fact? That's the Platform Controller Hub. It starts here in the US, but then it gets shipped all over the world for sort, die prep, assembly, etc. And then it gets sent around the world to customers, motherboard manufacturers, and everyone else. This next question comes from Tightstops. How does Intel determine the naming structure of products such as Alder Lake or Alchemist? Fanciful names like Alchemist are determined by trademark and brand, where code names like Alder Lake and the other lakes are determined by real places to avoid any trademark issues, and are sometimes just chosen at random, kind of like throwing a dart at a map, but much safer. Oh! Sorry. Okay, that's it for part 1 of the Alder Lake AMA community mailbag. Make sure to subscribe and you'll be the first to get notified when it's time for us to release
Alder Lake AMA, the sequel. Even more, 12th Gen Core.
If you have more questions, put them in the comments or at our Twitter handle @IntelTech, and keep a lookout for part 2 coming to your screens soon. And in the meantime, check out our shiny new explainer videos where we go even deeper into the details of the new 12th Gen processor. I'm Marcus Yam. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.